I write books because the greatest influence on my life were the books that I read. Books have formed me, who I am today, how I think, what I feel, have all been formed by what I read. And that practice of reading good books began when I was probably in the 7th grade. My parents paid our allowance. I'm the middle child. My brother's older. My sister is younger. I'm the middle child. My parents paid us to read books as we grew up. That's how we got our allowance. Our allowance was based on reading books. They would select the books, they would put them in our hands, we would read them, and then over the dinner table at night, we would talk about what we were reading. That was our dinner discussion. They invested in, but now, my parents didn't pay us to do chores. In fact, I remember going down to my neighbor's house, Phil Conrad, and Phil was doing some stuff, and he said he got paid to do chores. I said, "You're kidding me. What a great idea." So I came home to Dad, and I said, "Yeah, I'm over at Phil's house. You know, he's working out in the yard, doing some stuff. Dad, Phil gets paid to do chores. I'd like to get paid to do chores around my house." And my dad smiled and said, "Son, that'll never happen." "What do you mean it'll never happen?" He said, "I don't pay you to do chores." "Well, why don't you pay me to do chores? The other kids get paid to do chores." He said, "You do chores because you're part of a family." He said, "Let me put it this way. By the time you were born, you already owed your mother for 9 months of room and board." So shut up and take out the garbage. "Well, why would I pay you to take out the garbage unless I wanted you to grow up and be a garbage man?" "I put my money," he said, "where my values are. And if I can fill your mind with the right thoughts, it'll be amazing what you can accomplish in life." Now, I say that to you because many of you are parents and many of you are grandparents. I would highly suggest you start investing in your children and your grandchildren by picking out and putting in their hands books that'll change their life. It'll be the greatest investment that you ever make. Right now, we have 5 grandchildren, and I'm picking their library out right now. I pick out the books, and as they get certain ages, I will pay them to read the books, and then we'll discuss what they read. My son, Joel, wasn't a reader, so back in that day, he listened to tapes more than read books. I'll never forget the day that he gave me his one-page report. Where they get their money is when they give me the one-page report. They read the book, then they give me a one-page report on what they learned from the book and how they're going to apply it to their life. And I'll never forget when my 11-year-old son wrote down, "Dad, as I have finished reading this attitude book, I have come to the conclusion that my attitude, more than anything else, will determine my success in life." I'm going to, right now, if you're a parent or a grandparent, I'm going to give you more than 3, but I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 books to choose from, okay, that are great for your kids. The first one is called The Difference Maker. It's a book on attitude. And here's what it basically says. Your attitude isn't everything, but it's the main thing that'll make a difference in your life. And it teaches your kids about how to have a good attitude about adversity in their life. A great book for kids. The second one that's tremendous for your children is a book called Talent is Never Enough. It's a book that basically says no matter how talented you are, you have to make right choices and become a talent plus person. How many of you know somebody that's highly talented but just never can seem to get successful? You know what I'm talking about? You know why? They don't understand. Their talent is not this is great to get into kids at a young age because talent separates kids at a young age, and you got to help them understand it's great that you're talented. It's wonderful you're in that gifted program. Good for you. But it's the choices you make that are really going to bring you success. The next great kids book is Failing Forward. It's a book that teaches you how to fail successfully because kids fail, and if they're not careful, the failure will begin to put fear in their life. And I teach people how to fail the right way. It's not the failure that hurts us, it's our response, our wrong response to the failure. And when I wrote this book, I was interviewed on Good Morning America, and they asked me, they said, "Where did you do the research on your failure book?" And I said I didn't have to do any, it's the only book I've ever written that I never had to do any research on. All I had to do is think of all the stupid things I've done. And I give you 15 good ways to handle failure in your life. The next great book for kids, dear God, this book ought to be, I don't know, by the time they're a freshman in high school, they got to get it under their belt. It's called Today Matters. It basically says the secret of your success is determined in your daily agenda. It's not something out there that you're hoping for someday somewhere under the rainbow. It's the things that you do daily. Basically, I take success and help you understand it's in the daily management of certain decisions. And I have 12 decisions that you want to manage on a daily basis. That makes up the 12 chapters. A great book. My wife says this book is me. She says, John, of all the books you've ever written, if anybody ever wants to understand you, this is the book. It's called Thinking for a Change. Remember earlier I said the greatest difference between successful and unsuccessful people is how they think. And I identified 11 thinking patterns that successful people engage in that just sets them apart. Great book for you. Great book for the kids.